Imagine you're a foot and you have 5 toes and you were made to run, to jump across fields on sand, to swim in the seas. But you're trapped, surrounded on all sides by tight shoes chosen by your owner. He locked you in this cramped prison and you can't even move your toes. And gradually they stop working altogether. You envy the hand because you look at it and see how it moves. You see that it's free. At most, only in winter does it end up in a mitten or sometimes in a pocket. But you're always either in a sock, sweating even more, or in some kind of shoe. It would be fine if the shoes were good, but your owner, well, he's a bit slow. He doesn't see that your shape is like this. And also your big toe is big. And he chose shoes like this for you. Like this, see. And your toes don't fit at all. And just to somehow get by. What did you do to the brothers? You took 5 brothers. And just like that, you made them all shrink as much as possible. It's like you 50 people are in a 1-room apartment that's 5 square meters. And you're also working there at the same time. That's what your life is like. Imagine that. Next, what do you think will happen in this case, friends, if you keep watching? Restrict the movement of your fingers and put them in an environment where they're as compressed as possible. Do you think their function will improve? Write your thoughts in the comments. Especially, which finger suffers the most? What do you think? The thumb? Well, and the pinky too in some cases. But the thumb gets the most severe injury. And the joint that is right here, you see. Here we have the metatarsal bone, the tarsal, and here are the phalange bones, the phalanges of the big toe. And this joint is the one that gets damaged the most. Because if we put it in shoes like this, which push the big toe inward, there won't be any space for it here. At the same time, while walking, it still constantly bears the load. So during a step, look at what happens. You take a step, you lean, whether you want to or not, you will still put weight on your big toe. Where do you think the maximum load is? Look at the thickness of these bones. See? The big toe has the thickest bone. The pinky toe is interesting too, but it's still thicker than these 3 middle ones. These 2 bones experience the maximum load, but we can see the volume. We can see where the maximum load is. The big toe always bears the load, and if the support is on the big toe and at the same time it will also be with us, like this, shifted by the shoe, of course this joint will constantly get injured. So as we can see, we put our weight on the big toe. If all is well, movement occurs properly. But if the toe of our shoe is narrow, the joint here will get injured and inflamed. Plus, narrow shoes also squeeze and start to injure this part itself. And it starts to get inflamed, then it begins to deform. Bone growths start to appear. Let's go back. First, you need to stop the process. How can you do that? Change your shoes, choose the right size. There are 2 options for how you can do this. First, increase the shoe size. If you still want to keep wearing shoes like these, here's where the peak is the highest point. At the midfoot level, you need to get shoes that are a bigger size so you have more room for your big toe. So right here, there should be at least 0.5 centimeter left. because you also have to consider that when you step on your foot, the foot absorbs shock and gets a little longer. It makes this kind of movement. But ideally, it's better if your shoes have this kind of shape, so there's room for your big toe. That is, your shoe should match the shape of your foot. There are different foot shapes. This is especially important for those who have a rather large big toe. They're unlucky to wear regular shoes. They won't be able to. They need shoes like this if, in some cases, the big toe isn't that big. The middle toe here is almost the same length, and sometimes it's even longer. This kind of shoe suits them. They're luckier. They develop less deformity and less arthrosis in this joint. So friends, the process has stopped because we urgently changed our shoes and threw out the old ones. Now we need, as much as possible, depending on your stage, to restore the function and movement of your foot. The first muscle that needs to be restored is the muscle that abducts the big toe of the foot. During the time you were forcing your foot into the wrong shoes, it became completely atrophied. She said, "Everything, I can't do this anymore, I'm dying," said the muscle that abducts the big toe, and went into hibernation. It's time to wake it up. Gently press a ball with your foot and follow through. It's best if you have several of them here, one bigger and one smaller. And this part, the joint itself that hurts and is inflamed, we don't touch. We work through this whole area, starting from the back, from here and on the side like this. We do this with a ball. How? We take it and step on it like this. Step on it and move side to side. One way, then the other, back and forth. There will be some very painful spots here on the side. You always have to work through all of them. Press and hold. After about 20 seconds, the pain decreases. If it doesn't reduce the pressure, gradually over a few days, the pain will go away. In some cases, it may even take several weeks to work through all of this. Right to the heel, like this. These parts are important too. We work on them as well. You can use a bigger ball or a smaller one. All these areas, including where the little toe is, should be massaged. However, this part here is more important for you. Do the same thing with your hands along the entire inner surface. Take all of this and work it through. The whole muscle that moves the big toe away. The function of this muscle is to move the toe to the side like this. You have it in your hand as well. It makes this movement like this, and your big toe on your foot does the same. He lost this ability. He lost the ability to move to the side. Pay attention to your foot, because you've spent your whole life wearing shoes. Your foot is like this, right here, see? Your big toe. It's like this. Oh, barely, barely. So weak. You what can't be. If you were born in the jungle and spent your life climbing palm trees and eating bananas, your toe would be like this. If you didn't wear shoes, it would be like this. A magnificent big toe. And your levator scapulae muscle would be fully developed, a muscular levator muscle. Oh, what a levator scapulae! The one that abducts the big toe. If you didn't wear shoes, you wouldn't even know.
Hi guys. The doctor recommended me a great blood pressure monitor. Easy to use at home, accurate and reliable.
By the way, in the southern regions of our vast planet, where people have summer all year round, they don't even know about this disease because they don't wear shoes. Nothing restricts the mobility of their big toe. Much less. All of this is common if they've never seen shoes, but as soon as shoes appear in their stores, If, for example, you drop shoes into their tribe from a helicopter, all of this will immediately start happening to them. So, friends, next is stage number 2. Do you think that's all? No, that's relaxation. You all love to relax, love to rest, to chill, but now it's time to get serious. So, we take a rubber band. It can be any kind of rubber band. You can even use a hair tie or a money band. If you have money, that is, so you secure it like this. Look, starting position on the big toe and the other foot to the other foot. If you have it, put it right next to it, like this, see, neatly. Editor, we put it here too. But the elastic band, maybe it's a bit smaller. And now, what do? We hooked it onto our crooked big toes, deformed by shoes, and slowly move our feet apart. And here, the gap between the big toe and the next toe increases. The second toe, what's it called? The index toe, or maybe it has another name. Who knows the names of the toes? Not just first, second, third. But what are their actual names? If you know, write it in the comments. So, what are we doing? Tight. With the help of the elastic band, we relax the muscles and tissues that bring the big toe over here. So there are abductor muscles and there are adductor muscles. And so we relax all of this so that our toe gets used to moving back into this position again. So, we spend up to 5 minutes doing this, keeping this tension. Also, here is the second foot as well. Just imagine here it is. Now you start by moving your foot, making movements forward and backward. The band is also pulling you to the side. And now you move your foot. You can let it hang so nothing gets in the way of your heel. And you simply move your feet down and up, down and up. Watching? Well, if not my shows, then at least some television series. Here, you do it like this, like this. Here, keeping this tension between your thumbs. Do 2-3 sets of 10. You've done that. Next, now you start moving your big toe itself, keeping your foot in position. Bend straight and bend straight. So that it gets used to moving along the correct path. Keeping this tension, we do the movement. Now only one toe is working. Back and forth, back and forth. So we're pulling, and now the toe goes up, down, up, down. That's the movement it makes. There you go, friends. This is what will help you get rid of not only the pain in the joint itself, but also return it to the correct position. But how possible is that at this stage? How are things going for you? Return it to the correct position. So friends, the next step is to start training the muscle that moves the big toe away from the foot. Here, we attached the band here and pulled the toe. And now try at the same time as this tension to help the toe move out to the side like this. At first, of course, this will be difficult because your muscle is not well developed. And possibly during the movement, your toes might lift up a little at the same time as moving to the side. Or on the contrary, for some people, they might go down at the same time. That is, it won't move strictly to the side at the same time. Your flexors or extensors will also be engaged. This is all normal at first. Later, as the muscle gets stronger, it will become easier to do this movement. So first, you try to do this movement to the side with your finger together with the resistance band, and then later you do it without the band. Do it as much as possible. Even if this movement is very small, even if it's barely noticeable, even such a small movement already activates this muscle. Here's how we can, you see, move the finger away. This movement is called abduction. Abduction means that our thumb can move away from the other fingers, and adduction is the opposite. It moves back toward them. And it's the same here. The finger can move out this way and come back here again. And the first thing we need to do is restore the tone of the muscle that abducts the thumb. And try to do this movement to the side. You'll feel the tension right here, but that's just at first. Well, it's on the inner side of the foot, but it could be in different spots. Some people even experience a slight cramp in this muscle after the first workouts or during the first workouts. There's nothing to worry about. It's acceptable at first. Later you can work through all of this again with a ball. So first you do this movement passively by pulling it with the band, and then you try to move your thumb away on your own. Over time you can use small bands like these, like the ones for money or for hair. You attach them here like this over all your fingers like this, and try to make an effort moving your thumb and pinky finger apart in different directions, but over time you'll be able to do it too. So these two movements, the pinky and the thumb, if you practice well, they can start to do these movements again. Because we usually walk in shoes, all of this is atrophied. It doesn't work well. The abduction of the big toe is poor, and the abduction of the pinky toe also doesn't work well. So, and after that, it's also good. Do an exercise for adducting the big toe. This is also with a resistance band. It's good to do both at the same time. So you spread your toes to the side with the band, and you try to bring it back here to the center. The band pulls your toe this way, and you pull it back. You bring it back once, bring it back again and again. Here, at the same time, you will have the muscle that brings your big toe in working, training and stretching, because it also atrophies. Because the big toe is always in a state of adduction. This muscle is both shortened and weakened, while the muscle that abducts the big toe is weakened and stretched. So both are weak, but one is always in a shortened state, while the other is always in an elongated state. That's it. It's also very good to massage this area with a ball after such manipulations. So friends, with the altered position of the big toe, an incorrect angle of knee movement is also formed at the moment when you step onto a step. For example, whether you're going down, going up, or just walking. Such a person has developed this kind of knee movement where it goes beyond the foot, shifting inward like this, and as a result the load also shifts to this inner part of the foot, to the big toe joint. In order to restore ankle mobility again, because it has already gotten used to working at the wrong angle, even the foot, it turns slightly inward relative to the knee like this. So the knee gets used to working at this angle relative to the ankle. To restore this mobility again, we need to do the following. Take a resistance band, secure it at knee level like this. Any band will do. Stand up, and you can hold onto something with your hands at this point. Here the band is pulling you. So if I'm doing it with my right leg, should I secure it on the left? So I start making the movement first with the knee, just forward, back. At this moment, because the band creates a certain amount of resistance, you can secure it a little above the knee or a little below the knee. It's not that important. The band creates a certain amount of resistance, and I have to tense my muscles. But it's not because I'm trying to tense something on purpose. They tense up automatically. That's exactly what we need. The load shifts to the right part of the foot, and you see the knee, even if it's used to moving inward, starts to move outward. The same thing can be applied if I've developed a bad habit of shifting my knee over here while stepping. That is, if I walk and, for example, my foot is turned like this inward. I turn it straight with the help of the band, and I also correct it with this band. This is the correct movement. You can do the same thing on a step so that my knee gets used to working correctly in relation to the foot while stepping. And the next exercise now, I put this leg back and imitate the movement of a step, placing my foot on the toe. Continuing, I just shift my weight onto the front part of my foot, placing my foot on the toe. Stand for a second or two and then back. Once again, I go onto the toe. The band pulls me and back. Once again and back. And this way, the correct angle of foot movement is also being trained. So, my friends, well, congratulations on acquiring new, high quality, highly effective exercises for restoring the correct shape of your foot and getting rid of big toe deformities.
The main thing is to do them. See you in our next episodes, dear friends.
Hi, guys. The doctor recommended me a great blood pressure monitor. Easy to use at home, accurate, and reliable.